Hey folks, let's talk about the different theories in peacekeeping, what peacekeeping is and why this is so crucial to global politics. Now, the first thing we want to really talk about is the idea of peacekeeping. Now, peacekeepers are simply the forces that are used to stop warring parties. The United Nations is going to be a major player in peacekeeping operations. Just one of them does it, kind of one of their whole goals is to keep the peace. The reason the United Nations was founded, one of the major reasons the UN was founded. So they're going to be major peacekeeping missions. You have other countries that tend to be more neutral by definition, going to be coming in as peacekeeping missions, like Ireland, I know in Lebanon has recently been in a peacekeeping mission. There's a number of peacekeeping missions going on around the world. You can see on the UN Peacekeepers website. The reason that peacekeepers are used is that they will have a less chance of civilian death in a conflict because the peacekeepers are there to quite literally preserve the peace, and also it brings about a higher chance of positive peace. These are two different claims made directly by the UN as why peacekeeping is significant. There is data to back this up. So that is really what peacekeeping is. Now, the first kind of theory we want to look at is hegemonic stability theory. Now, this simply states that global stability and a lack of violence derives from one powerful country. Now, this powerful country is going to be known as the hegemon. Now, the hegemon is this large nation that really is going to be there to make sure that peace is around the world and peace does not end. Some good historical examples of this. We have the Mongol Empire from long, long ago, about 1,000 years ago. We have the Ottoman Empire a little less long ago than that. And then current day, or probably, I guess you could make an argument more U.S. post-Cold War, maybe less so today due to the growth of some other countries. But really, you have this one powerful country, this unipolar system of power that ultimately brings about stability. There is an idea that hegemony, this theory that the violence will increase when the hegemon is in decline. So if you look, for example, the Ottoman Empire, when it started to crumble, that's when we had the breakout of World War I and other conflicts going on around Europe. You could make an argument right now the world's got a lot of peace. There's the United States no longer the major or the only major global power out there. Because of that, you could argue it's maybe in decline. Therefore, there could be some conflict. Now, there's kind of a bit of a grasp, but there could be an argument to be made right there. We also want to talk about the idea of a proxy war. Now, a proxy war is simply an armed conflict between two different actors. These two actors are supported by specific countries. These countries that are doing the actual fighting, or the two actors, are the proxies kind of fighting on behalf of something else. Good example of this from recent history would be the civil war in Yemen. The Houthis supported by Iran and the other side supported by the Saudis and the Saudi coalition forces. Really, it's like Saudi and Iran are fighting with one another, but they're not going to have a direct kind of conflict because that would be very bloody, very deadly. And instead, they're going to use it through proxies. So they take two different groups that they kind of have some alignment with, and then they will go ahead and fight each other. We've also had proxy wars. You could make an argument that the Syrian civil war was an example of proxy war. The Cold War, number of proxy wars. You could look at the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, the United States and the West supporting the Mujahideen fighters against the Soviets. You could look at the Vietnam War, the Soviets and the United States. The United States directly involved, the Viet Cong being supported by the Soviet Union and the communist forces. A lot of different proxy wars, significant, understand that. We also have the idea of egalitarianism. Egalitarianism is the belief that all deserve equal rights and equal opportunities. So this would be the belief that everyone is equal and everyone should be treated with the right to equal opportunity. The argument here is that there is not the possibility of peace if injustice is present, right? This is someone who's egalitarian would believe that. So basically, this is kind of looking at the idea of positive peace. If we talk about the structural violence, that has to completely go away if you want total peace. Galtung is one who talks about this. You can understand talking about the idea of positive and negative peace, that true peace, again, is only possible when society has no inequality. So if there's inequality in a society, there's not going to be peace. Now, taking this further, different arguments, we have the Professor Paul Streeton. He makes the argument that life expectancy and literacy could be well managed, or it could be quite high in a well-managed prison. So simply having high life expectancy, high literary rates, these different things we look at in the Human Development Index, simply having that does not necessarily mean you are in peace. Peace in a society does not necessarily equal positive peace. Just because there's not violence, people not actively killing each other, does not necessarily mean that society has positive peace. We can also talk about the idea of holistic peace theory, can't speak. Grof and Smoker are the two people who really talk about this. All humans and animals should live together in harmony, and that sustainability within the environment is key. Humans are not inherently more valued than the rest of society or the rest of the environment. They really should work together. It's kind of the idea that if the earth is not healthy, people will also not be healthy. So we should work together with one another in order to bring about peace. We also have the idea of holistic inner-outer peace. This is frequently a connection to religious or a spiritual dimension. So you have to have this inner peace within yourself if you would like to bring about world peace. A good example of this would be the idea of greater jihad within Islam. So not jihad as in the violence and the fight against non-believers, the way it's kind of been misinterpreted or used by radicals within Islam, but the idea that you have an inner struggle within yourself and the challenges of life. So how do you overcome the struggles of life, the temptation, just the general parts of being life that aren't always easy? How do you work and bring about a betterment of yourself and come into inner and outer peace? The idea as well here is that if you want global well-being, it needs to come from inner peace. Basically, if people aren't okay, the world is not going to be okay. Any comments or questions, please do let me know. Otherwise, I will see you later. Good luck.